Hey, do you keep finding research notes on octopus-loving death cults under your uncle's bed instead of the Sears catalog like a normal family? Have you ever wished upon a star that the universe would grant you a magical best friend to take you on adventures?
You and the dark one, Cthulhu, sharing adventures and smiles. It's a magical bond two pals can share. Soon the whole world will be made aware of.
Well, congratulations! You might be a... Sorry, wait, Oh, come on. Alright, hold on one second.
mglw'nafh Cthulhu R'lyeh, wgah'nagl, fhtagn.
You might be a great old one warlock. There we go. But what is a great old one warlock? Well, perform the ancient ritual, start chanting whatever the hell it was I just said, and try not to get too turned on when you see all those tentacles coming out of the water.
Cthulhu good. I thought I'd have some cosmic horror, turns out I'm a cosmic.
Anyway, the term eldritch horror often refers to a very specific spectrum of spooky, and deals with the fear of what lies in the unknown. Many good eldritch horror stories put the reader in a sense of dread, not with vivid descriptions of horrific brutality, but instead with a disturbing lack of detail, allowing the reader's imagination to fill in the gaps. And while eldritch horror and the mythos around the genre has served as the inspiration for authors like Stephen King, Kentaro Miura, and Alan Moore, and even the aesthetic can be seen in as many places as Pirates of the Caribbean, Ben 10, and even D&D itself, I think it's worth noting that this style of horror has grown beyond its Lovecraftian roots, especially considering its original creator was a profound piece of shit. You, Howard. So even though everything this dickhead said would be right at home in a 2011 Call of Duty Black Ops server, we're gonna shift our focus to the brighter side of these stories. You know, the immortal, world-destroying space fish who can cause a normal person to go insane just by looking in their general direction. Yippee. That brings me to these guys. The Great Old Ones are a wild concept in all mediums, but especially in D&D, as they aren't quite gods, but they're pretty damn close. In fact, it's thought that the Great Old Ones may be called that because they were actually around first, but that's an argument for philosophers and theologians. We just want weird, cool superpowers. Luckily for us, one of these big bad sea monkeys might just grant us a piece of their power as long as we agree to forward their goals. But what those might be, no one really knows. A warlock of a Great Old One, or a Gulak, whether it be Dindar the Night Serpent, the Chained God Tharizdun, or the sexy as hell Great Cthulhu himself, must understand that they are one of many pawns utilized over the centuries, and whatever the Great Old Ones are planning may not come to fruition until long after this world is forgotten. Say what you want about Octopus Face here, the guy's got patience. But first, do you love that excitement your players give each time you throw down an impressive battle map? Are you obsessed with dropping your party into challenging locales, but maybe don't have the proper artistic eye to bring it to life? Well, if you want access to the best tabletop maps around, you have to check out today's sponsor, Chepekku. Chepekku is the premium map maker for any game from D&D to Pathfinder, and have recently started a sci-fi line so you can take your adventures into the stars. Take your players everywhere from the beautiful to the terrifying and much, much more. Chepekku even has animated maps for that deep immersion that locks in with your favorite VTTs like Roll20, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, and more. And with over 4,000 options to choose from, Chepekku has a map for any and every fight you can imagine. So if you want access to all these incredible maps with a new one dropping every week, hit my link in the description and subscribe to Chepekku's Patreon today. And then come join me and many others who've taken their game to the next level with Chepekku. A huge thanks to Chepekku for sponsoring the show. And now, back to the video. So let's say you may have gotten in deep with the deep one and now you're being asked to do some weird stuff to stay on his good side. What should you expect? Well, first things first, you're gonna get a little Pact Magic. Pact Magic is a treat from your salacious cephalopod and allows you to cast mind-warping spells like Dissonant Whispers to cause psychic damage and force bad guys to run away, or Tasha's Hideous Laughter to knock them prone by forcing bad guys into bouts of insane cackling. But it's our newfound connection to this otherworldly power that awakens our minds. Now we can reach out and touch the minds of others to communicate telepathically with any creature we can see, and we don't even have to be able to understand the same language to chat. Though it does seem like other creatures aren't able to talk back, which kinda sucks. At second level, we get Eldritch Invocations as we delve further into Cthulhu Voodoo, and I'm gonna stick to the stuff that lets you mess with the heads of all the normies hanging out in Arkham. That's Arkham, Massachusetts, by the way, not Arkham Asylum. But I'd forgive you for confusing the two, they are pretty similar. So I'd pick up Beguiling Influence to help out your persuasion and deception checks so you can convince average citizens that everything's okay and to ignore all the cults popping up everywhere, or Mask of Many Faces to cast Disguise Self at will so you can convince people they're going insane by slightly altering your appearance each time you see them. Third level gets us a Pact Boon, which is like a promotion in the world of Warlock patrons, and takes the form of some terrifying new powers. And since your cult's been secretly hiding the mysteries of the Great Old Ones for as long as anyone can remember, I think it makes the most sense to grab the Pact of the Tome. This book, called a grimoire, comes packed with 3 new cantrips for you to learn from any spell list, and if you lose the book, you can do a ritual to bring it back. Speaking of rituals, you can also swap out an invocation to grab the Book of Ancient Secrets. This gives you 2 more first level spells from any list that you can also cast as rituals, and any spell that you find on your adventure that has the ritual tag can be transcribed into the book for you to cast later. And as long as you have some time and gold, you can put spells like Tiny Hut, Telepathic Bond, or even Phantom Steed onto your spell list and give yourself a huge buff to your all-around casting potential. Which reminds me, we also get 2 new spells at this level, so grab Detect Thoughts for some more mental shenanigans and Phantasmal Force to create a weird illusion in the mind of the enemy so they now have to box with their worst fear like a giant dragon or Bing Bong the Clown instead of dealing with you. 5th level gets us an additional invocation so you can pick up the Gift of the Depths for a swimming speed and the ability to cast water breathing once a day so you can hang out with the old ones on their home turf, or Maddening Hex so you can send extra psychic damage to anyone cursed by you with spells like Hex or Bestow Curse. You also get the spells Clairvoyance and Sending to let you make an invisible camera to spy on a particular area for a while or communicate telepathically with your allies over long distances. Actually, sending doesn't necessarily have to be to an ally, so while you can talk to your friends or even the big guy himself, I guess, it's also fun to torment people you hate with creepy messages while they're trying to sleep.
Your feet smell better in the moonlight.
But bouncing up to 6th level, we get the Entropic Ward to shield ourselves with that weird psychic magic and use a reaction to cause an enemy to have disadvantage on an attack against us, which we can then use to give ourselves advantage on the next attack we make, for essentially a once per short rest silvery barbs. And while this ability has the potential to make big plays in combat, the fact that you can only do it once per battle is kinda disappointing. Luckily, 7th level gets us another invocation, and I like Dreadful Word to get a free casting of Confusion once per day, so you can warp the brains of enemies within a 10-foot sphere and possibly cause them to attack each other, run in circles, or do nothing as they scream in terror at the visions of the old ones you may have slipped into their minds. You also get the spells Dominate Beast to, well, yeah, exactly that. Take over the mind of a beast and cause it to fight for you or run away. Or how about Ivard's Black Tentacles to turn an area into a mass of squiddy tentacles that cause damage while you're in it, because there's no escaping the might of the old one's maw. Or beard? Or face legs. Anyway, 9th level is here, and that means even more spells and invocations. And I like the Ascendant step to let you cast Levitate at will, so you no longer have to walk the streets with these beings of lesser understanding. As well as Dominate Person to finally control the minds of mortals so they can join the thralls of the old ones whether they volunteered or not, and Telekinesis to hurl people and objects around with your mind. And since your brain is your ultimate weapon, you will eventually develop a Thought Shield at level 10 to gain resistance to psychic damage, as well as forcing any creature that dealt it to you to take the same amount of that damage, and your mind can't be infiltrated by mind readers unless you allow them to. But it's 11th level where we get access to the
Mystic Arcanum!
Mystic Arcanum are spells, but since the Bard and the Warlock are always vying for who can be the most extra, we needed a special name for it. This gives us 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level Mystic Arcanums that we can grab as we level up, so keep in mind incredible choices like Mental Prison to inflict psychic damage and lock opponents in place, Power Word Pain to make their brains fight their bodies into submission, Maddening Darkness for an inky black cloud that laughs at you for being unable to escape, and Psychic Scream when you finally hit 17th level to inflict 14d6 psychic damage on a creature, causing their head to explode if this kills them. Yes, it actually says that. Their head explodes. F***ing metal. Sorry. But for now, we get another invocation at level 12, and while you can grab stuff like Far Scribe to cast Sending through your book, or the Gift of the Protectors to help out an ally you think might get knocked down, something tells me we're not that nice. Instead, how about Misty Visions to cast silent images at will and scare the townsfolk with spooky ghosts? Or how about the ability to create thralls for the big guy at level 14 by cursing a target who is incapacitated? Wait, like asleep? Well, yeah, but Tasha's hideous laughter also works somehow. So you're either sneaking into the bad guy's lair and hoping to catch them headed to Snooze Town, or pulling off the crazy combo of Tasha's hideous laughter and then create thrall on your next turn. I mean, flavor-wise, I like this, but I feel like this ability is going to be really hard to pull off consistently. And since the target is only charmed, not dominated, depending on your DM, the only person safe from them is you, not the party. So maybe it's situational. But unless someone casts Remove Curse or use this feature on somebody else, the effect is permanent, so that's cool. But wrapping up with our last two invocations, we can take Visions of the Distant Realms or Shroud of Shadows at level 15 to cast Arcane Eye or Invisibility at will, and for our 18th level, I kinda dig Master of Myriad Forms, so you can cast Alter Self and show up to in-game fights with an octopus face, just like your master. That's neat. And finally, at 20th level, we become an Eldritch Master, letting us spend 1 minute thinking about how cool Cthulhu is and regaining all packed magic slots at once. So is the Gulak so good it destroys the mind? Is Cthulhu's ass full of seawater? Sorry, I've been waiting to say that this whole video and I couldn't find a place anywhere. Yeah, it's pretty good. The best part about this subclass is honestly the flavor. With some good choices on your expanded spell list and the kind of weird things you can do outside of combat, you make for a pretty consistent utility player with some flexibility to boot. And while you don't have to lean this hard in the mind-altering chicanery as I did, I like how different the Gulak feels when compared to its buddies. But there are some downsides. While I think the abilities for this Warlock are neat, they suffer from the same problem most of the player's handbook classes have, being that they just don't hold up strength-wise when compared to the other Warlocks. Warlocks in general is kind of a hard class to get right without a multi-class anyway, so I'd like some more usefulness out of your Entropic Ward and create Thrall abilities. But there's still that part of me that wants to play this subclass regardless. Maybe it's the expanded spell list making up for the lackluster abilities, or the fact that I love the Arkham Horror board game and can feel the vibe the stragglers of the stream were going for. I will never remember the name of this company, I swear. But it's so close to being there, you can just taste it. Oh well. Maybe if we hurry up with this ritual, we might get a little more magic from the big guy.
So as the earth and mountains quake, the sea descends and dries the lakes, the unfathomable emerges to a mind that breaks, and deep below, Cthulhu wakes.
And guess what? You might be a great old one Warlock. Hey guys, thanks for watching. This channel has been a dream come true in so many ways, and I can't thank you guys enough for listening to me ramble, but I'm sure I will try. If you want to support me and what I do, it's as simple as liking this video and subscribing to the channel, or leaving a comment on what I should do next. But if you want to go a step beyond, you can always join the Patreon like these lovely folks on screen, and get your name on these videos for as little as $1. Each tier includes more stuff like ad-free content, the ability to vote in polls for upcoming videos, and games DM'd by me, so come check us out over there. Or as always, come see me and tons of other cool people on the Discord server. We're always hanging out and having a great time. But once again, thanks so much to everyone who made it this far. I hope the best for all of you, and I'll see you soon.